Okay, so let's talk about semiotics. This is my analysis. I did a 2008 Coca-Cola commercial. It was the Super Bowl commercial. So, let's see. Here's the video. Actually, I'm not gonna play it just because it takes a minute. But
Gentlemen, surely the point.
I can explain it. Fine. So, setting the scene, there's two men always on camera and they're both political figures. Um, they're always smiling, they're talking, they're agreeing. It creates a happy feeling and a feeling of togetherness. The camera angles that are used, it's the one scene, there's a few that stood out, but the one is in a museum and it's shooting up from the ground. I put the men sitting on a bench just very intently looking at the artwork and showing their focus and their intent on what they're looking at and listening and actually taking in what the person is saying about the art. And then the other one is the placement of the Coca-Cola label. I noticed that it was always shown and the label was always facing the camera. And I know that a lot of companies do this with their labels so that it's readable and people signify that as their label and their what they're looking for their product. So their color use. The two political parties, the men, one was wearing a red tie and one is wearing a blue tie, signifying the two political parties, and red and blue are mainly used in politics. And then it uses a lot of natural outdoor lighting as the men are going around DC looking at the sights and everything, and it's during the day. Um, this creates warmth and it feels inviting and like, oh yeah, let's go see what they're doing. The ending is a really soft sunset scene when the two men sit down together, and it's the nature around them, and it's kind of a shot looking at the Washington Monument and the reflecting pool, so it just creates a sense of calmness within the hectic city life. And then they also use a red tour bus in the video to capture the attention of the person watching to say, "Oh, look at this." In the sea of gray and all the cars in the road and the buildings, the pop of red focuses your attention to it to where the men are. And I think this also goes with the Coca-Cola trucks because they're red and you always see them going around, so that also brings ties back in with the Coca-Cola label. So the denotation that we get from the video is that it's two political rivals. They're both men. They agree on a Coca-Cola and they spend the day together. They're traveling the city, they're sightseeing, they're looking at monuments and museums. They're just together the entire day. It's there's clear confusion from others in the video looking at the two men because it's like, why are two political rivals who were arguing now getting along? And it's that we always think of political rivals as not getting along and not agreeing on things, but this commercial takes it and they do agree and they spend the day together, which is odd for us to see. And the Coca-Cola label itself is always very bright. It's very upfront and it's that universal look of Coca-Cola with that white lettering. It's almost kind of cursive and it's the red background that we always see, especially on like their boxes and the packs with the bottles in them and everything. Even the whole label is red. So then the connotation. It creates a sense of togetherness and that bottle that it can bring people together. Um, the bottle of Coke can help you, make friends from enemies and like, if someone's having a bad day, you're like, "Oh, here, like have a Coke. Like, I'm sorry. Like, here you go." It helps it gives a feeling of like cheering somebody up and spending time with others. It also gives a feeling of calmness throughout the entire video, just because there's not any like harsh scenes. In the beginning, they are fighting, but within 20 seconds, they're agreeing with each other, and it's a calmness and a togetherness that they get from each other and being together. Um, it creates a uneasiness as well though because of politicians getting along so well. That's not the norm that we see, like I said. So it creates a little bit of like what's going on here? And then the Coca-Cola label, it creates a sense of thirst and refreshingness. I know when I think of it, I think of like a hot summer day and a nice cool drink in my hand. And as you can see the picture, their slogan on there says delicious and refreshing. So they want people to associate refreshingness with it and the delicious taste that it has. The different sounds that they use in the video, it's very upbeat, funny music. One of the lines was, "We don't see eye to eye, sometimes it's true," which is like a political party's reference with the candidates not getting along and the political parties having different views on things. And then I also say, "I just want to share a smile with a friend like you," which is odd for rivals to be close like that. And especially when that part is spoken, they're sitting on the steps and they're sharing a drink together and they clink those bottles together. So it's funny and oh my goodness, comedic for them to do that. And, they're enjoying the drink and each other's company by clinking those bottles together. It's a very audible clink. So the why. So politicians are known for not getting along, so I think that's a good use of the political stance that was happening at that time. It was nice to see like, rivals actually getting along and actually not fighting for once. And the video shows that, even with their differences, they can agree on a Coke. They can agree on a Coca-Cola, which promotes the brand. And, it's also like anyone can put aside their differences and share a Coke together. Um, but then there's also the fact that it's two grown men acting like children playing a game of Jinx, which started the entire thing of getting a Coke, which makes the video less serious. Because, say the same thing. Oh, Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Then they go buy a Coke. So it's the whole thing of the video, like, okay, like why are two grown men playing a game of Jinx? And then taking they're also taking a day to not work and have fun while enjoying a Coke. So it gives you a sense of a Coke being like, okay, I can sit down and relax for a minute and not be so serious and enjoy a drink. So yeah, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my analysis.